Good evening, I'm Heidi and welcome to Better Sleep Yin Flow. So many of us experience different reasons why we don't fall asleep easily. For me, I am in my perimenopause phase, and with hormone changes, that messes up with my sleep. Either hot flashes or night sweats really interrupt my sleep. So doing this yin flow has really helped me to transition from my busy day right into like cooling my body down, preparing my body, telling my brain we're gonna go and rest now, telling my body the same message too. But you might have many other reasons like stress, burnout. You might just have a lot going on. You might just be really, really busy throughout your day and you just haven't had that transition period of putting aside your busy day and putting aside some time to sleep and rest. And it's really important that you get some good sleep because that's when our body replenishes, restores, and repairs. So we're going to move into this yin flow, and you're going to need some props to help to support you. So grab some bolsters, pillows. You can even roll up a blanket, have a blanket with you for the end of class. That's always helpful, and blocks too. We're going to be holding the poses for a long time, probably around 3 minutes or so. So that's why I like having these props to just support you and hold you up in those poses so you can really relax in your body. All right, let's get started. We're going to come into a seated position. You can cross your legs. You can sit on your shins, whatever works for you. Sit on a block. You can also do this practice right in your bed before you go to sleep. All right, sitting up nice and tall, closing your eyes. I want you to stack the ribs over your hips and soften the shoulders away from your ears. And just bring your awareness to your breath now. Just noticing the air moving in through the nose to the lungs and then back out. And this yin flow, we're just going to be doing a gentle breathing. I'm going to slow the breath down. So maybe you inhale for the count of 4. And exhale for the count of 6. Inhale. Slow, longer breath out. Breath in. Breath out. Take a breath in through the nose. As you breathe out through the nose, bring your chin in towards your chest and feel that stretch down the back of your neck. Come back up to center, breath in, chin lifts. And then bring your chin back down towards your chest, exhale it out. Nice, come back up. And we do that again, chin towards the chest, exhale, hold this here for a moment, breath in, breath out. Start noticing any sensations that come up in your body. Where are you feeling any tension? Where are you feeling the stretch? No sharp pain. Whenever you feel sharp pain, come out of it a little to where there's no more pain. Come back to center, breath in. This time bring your left ear towards your left shoulder. Closing your eyes, just again start noticing where you're feeling any sensation. Come back to center, breath in. Let's do the other side, right ear, right shoulder. Beautiful. Come back to center, breath in here. Bring your chin over towards the right. So just looking over, keeping your chin neutral. And then noticing any stretching sensations that come up. Try keep those ribs right over the hips and your chest squared forward. Come back to center. Left chin over towards the left shoulder. Come back to center. Circle sweep your arms up to the sky. Take a big breath in here. Bring your hands to heart center. Exhale it out. Circle sweep. Inhale, lift. Hands to heart center. Exhale it out. One more time. Big breath in. Lift, lift, lift those arms. Stretch up. Feel the stretch to the spine. Hands to heart center. Exhale it out. Let's come onto all fours. I'm going to bring your knees directly under your hips and take a seat so you can grab your pillow or bolster or block, whatever you'll be using, and placing it lengthways in front of you. You want the shorter side width closer towards the knees. And maybe you slide them in between the knees here. I'm coming into a child's pose. So you're going to walk your hands forward. You want to soften the elbows down, the forearms down, and let the chest rest on the bolster. Now you can bring your right ear down to the earth, left ear, or your forehead down to the earth or onto the bolster. And then stay here and just notice the breath now. Let 4 count in, 6 count out, 4 count in, 6 count out. By focusing on the breath and bringing all our awareness to the breath, and giving our mind a chance to settle, a chance to find some stillness. Set aside the day, thinking, planning, organizing, setting that aside and resting your mind. However, that is sometimes easier said than done. You might find that some thoughts, memories, or emotions of the day come up. And instead of pushing those aside, I invite you to take a look at each thought very carefully. Notice what that thought is. Is it a memory, an emotion? Maybe it's a task that you forgot to do today and you still need to do tomorrow. Whatever it is, give it a name. Label it. Sometimes by noticing it, labeling it, categorizing the thought, it's easier to set this thought aside, let it pass by, and then you've cleared your space, cleared the space in your mind. Throughout this practice, if you feel that the mind is not settling, I invite you to use this technique to help you find some stillness in your mind. Let's do 2 more breaths here, 4 rounds in, slower, longer, gentler out, breath in, and breath out. Slowly, you're gonna come all the way up. Walk your hands in towards the knees. And let's move the bolster out of the way. I'm going to do a little counter pose, a little cat and cow. So wrists under the shoulders, knees directly under the hips. Inhale, lengthen the front of the body. And exhale, tilt the tailbone down, hug belly button and chin towards your chest. Let's do that again. Breath in, nice and slow. Exhale, hug it in. last time. Breath in. Breath out. Slowly walking your hands back again towards your knees. You're going to swing the legs around and come onto a seated position. This is now when you would need your blocks or the pillow. I want you to bring your feet to touch. Soles of your feet are touching, knees come out wide. And listen to your body. Just notice how it feels. You might want to bring your legs out, forward a little bit more, or you want to bring your feet in towards you. Whatever works for you, you try that. And I want you to think about just as arching the front of bringing the chest forward. So you're arching your back, sending the sit bones back. Nice. And then taking your blocks and propping up here on the knees. So you're supporting the knees. So if you're very flexible in the hips, I recommend putting the blocks here because you don't want to go too deep either. We want to keep supporting the knees, supporting the hips. And then if you're also very tight, feel free to adjust the height of the blocks to support you. You don't want to feel this pain going to the edge. So in Yin, we go to our edge and then we come back about 25%. So find that 25%. You're going to grab the bolster, place it here in front of you, or pillow, or blocks, and then you're going to fold it forward, resting your hands on either side, and just allow the opening of the hips, stretching the inner thighs. And beautiful stretch all the way from the tailbone to the top, back of your neck. Focusing again on the breath. And as I mentioned in Yin, we hold this for a minimum of 3 minutes. So the first 20 seconds or so, you go to your edge. If it's too much, it's when you back out of it, give yourself a little more support with your props. If you need a little more, you find your depth. Maybe move some props out of the way. If you found that edge, and now bring it back about 25%. And what we're doing here is we're stressing the connective tissue. Like anything, you apply stress, there'll be a little bit of damage, and then your body repairs, and when it repairs, it becomes stronger. How does that work? Well, connective tissue is made of elastin and collagen. As the word says, elastin, that has got the elasticity, it helps to stretch and move as your body needs you to. And when we stress it like this, holding a pose for a long time where there's this little bit of discomfort but no sharp pain, we're adding some stress. And with that stress, the body then needs to repair. As it repairs, it produces this collagen. And collagen is the building blocks and make the fascia stronger. So right here, you're preparing your body for repair. And as you sleep, and get a good night's sleep, it is the best time for your body to replenish, restore, and repair. And this connective tissue looks like a spider web, but acts like a sweater. So if there's any tightening or pulling, like in a sweater in one part of the sweater, you'll see that it pulls all the way around to different parts. And the fascia in our body does the same thing. If there's anything that's kind of stuck, or there's tension or damage to the fascia, because it's connected to other parts of the body, the other parts of the fascia around the body. You might feel that tension, that pulling sensation somewhere else in the body. So sometimes when you do a yin pose and slowly come on out it, you feel a release of tension in a completely different part of the body that you suspected you would have. Honor that, listen to that. Take a breath in through the nose. And open your mouth side out. Feel free to open your eyes as you slowly walk your hands in towards you, sitting up tall, and now moving the blocks slowly out of the way. So bring your bolster blocks to the side of your mat, and then cross at your legs, and let's come into a downward facing dog. So placing your hands down onto the earth, we're moving very slowly, we're in no hurry. You're going to curl the toes, lift the hips up and back, downward dog. Knees can be bent, and you can take your dog for a walk if that feels good. You can also exaggerate the walk so you get a little bit more into the side body. Just start noticing how you feel. Like, how do you feel around those hips? How do you feel on the inner thighs and the spine? Beautiful. Come back onto all fours, knees on down. Feel free to sit down onto the shins and the heels. I'm going to take that bolster again, and we're going to do a twist with the bolster. So again, we're going to place the bolster lengthways, either on your bed or you're on the mat. And then you're going to bring your knees over towards the left and sit on the outside of your right hip, taking the shorter width of the bolster towards the hip and the thigh. Knees can be stacked, or you can extend the knees long, whatever works good for you. You can also prop any support under that right hip that is on the ground if it's too hard on the floor. Facing the bolster, you're going to come all the way down. Again, forehead can come down, right ear can come down, left ear. You do what works for you. You can stack the knees, you can extend the legs. First 10-20 seconds, find your depth. Adjust accordingly so you're not feeling any sharp pain. A little discomfort is fine. It's actually good. As long as you can breathe through that, that's a good place to be. Your eyes closed, focusing on the breath, using the naming technique of your thoughts to help you quieten your mind. In yin poses, we work a lot with these energy channels, the meridians that run through our body. Many times we feel some pain and discomfort in certain parts of the body. Sometimes that pain and discomfort comes from feeling an emotion. You might have noticed that maybe when you stress, what happens to your physical body. For some, there's a tension in the neck and the head and the shoulders. For others, there's a lower back pain and hip tension and stiffness. The emotions we feel get stuck in our body. That energy gets stuck. And by allowing ourselves to be in these postures that hold for a long time, we're stressing that fascia, and we are allowing that energy to become unblocked. flow freely, releasing the tension, releasing the emotions associated with that physical tension, a blockage of energy. Take a full breath in through the nose and open your mouth side out. Slowly press down through the hands, lifting your head up, coming onto a seat. Crossing your legs and just taking a moment to notice how you feel. How does one side of the body feel in comparison to the other side? Nicely done. You can open up your eyes so you can adjust for the other side. So now we're going to bring the right knees forward. I'm moving my block over. You adjust it any way that you need to. Bring your right knees forward and we're going to stack or extend the one after the other. And you want to get that twist in. So we're twisting the torso, chest facing the bolster, getting nice and comfortable and lying on down. Notice where you're holding onto any tension and see if you can release it. Soften it a little bit more with the breath. You have this great analogy of the front of the body represents the future, and the back of the body represents the past, and the sides is the present moment. Using the breath, using the technique of naming the thoughts and allowing them to pass by, not attaching to the thoughts, we are coming into the present moment. But in the physical body, in this pose, we're actually twisting, activating all the meridians that run down the side of the body, releasing any stuck energy there, but bringing also our awareness to the physical side of the body that represents this present moment, this now. The more present we can be, living in the now, the more at peace you'll be too. The more joy you find right in front of you. Instead of waiting for those moments ahead in the future to bring you peace, joy, happiness. Practicing being present, you'll start living that joyful, peaceful life that's already in front of you, that you're in it. Just a few more breaths here. Done. Slowly, slowly, we're going to come on out. Beautiful. Coming into a seated position. And put the block or bolsters or pillow behind you. You can bring your hands either onto the bolster or the pillow. Knees are bent wider than hip distance apart or hip distance apart. And we're just going to slowly move the knees side to side. Nice. Eyes can be closed, bringing your awareness to any other sensations that you might be feeling here. Maybe around the hips and the lower back. Nicely done. Coming back to center, we're going to lie down on our back now. So drape yourself over onto the bolster all the way back. You're going to walk your feet in to lift the hips up, and then you're going to slide the bolster down to under your buttocks, lower back. Feel free to place your hands maybe on your belly, down by your side, one hand on your heart, one hand on the belly, whatever works for you. And then lift one leg up and then the other. Leg up the wall pose. Now you want to be really comfortable here, so you're not working the legs. The legs are nice and soft. You want to feel free to maybe put the legs right up against the wall. If you're in your bed, maybe you turn around and put it up on the headboard. I want you to make sure you are bringing the hips a little higher than the heart in your head. Before we find stillness here, I want you to roll your ankles. Big circles here. Nice, and the other side. Beautiful. All right, now let's find some stillness. So softening through the toes, the feet, the legs. Just be here. This pose calms your central nervous system down. You'll start noticing that your heart rate slows down. You'll start noticing that you might feel a little coolness in the body, your temperature decreases. Noticing that the length of your breath slows down too. When we calm down our central nervous system, we bring our body into a state of rest and digest. If you experience any sort of heartburn or any abdominal pain or discomfort, you want to ask yourself, what state are you in when you're sitting down for a meal or snacking on food? Are you elevated, stressed, busy? Or are you in a state that's calm and peaceful? If you'd like to help you before you eat so that you can effectively, efficiently digest your food, and see if you can calm your central nervous system down before you eat. Slowing your breath down and bringing awareness to your breath. Maybe legs up the wall. But that might not always be accessible for you, so maybe you can fold forward once you're seated in a chair, bringing your head below your hips and your heart. Or maybe just slowing things down by mindfully eating. Feeling grounded, feet down on the earth. And then just being mindful of every chew, bite that you take, noticing the texture, the taste of every bite of food. And by doing this, you are telling your brain and your gut that your body is ready to rest and digest. let's bend the knees. Bring the knees into the chest just to give a nice little squeeze. It might feel really good. And the lower back, feel free to rock side to side too if that works for you. And then place one foot down at a time onto the mat or to the bed. I want you to create a starfish in your body. So extending the legs nice and long and out, arms out, nice and long and out, and just soften here. This is one of my absolute favorite poses to do at the end of the day. It's a counter pose for our default pose that we do all day, the sitting. Activating the hip flexor muscles to bring the knees in towards the chest in that sitting position. And what we're doing here now is the opposite, a counter. I told you that connective tissue is made up of elastin and collagen. So think of an elastic band that you either stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch and to a point where it loses elasticity, it loses its shape. That's what happens to the fascia if you keep putting it into a position in its unnatural state, the pushing it to an extension. But there's also the opposite. When you're constantly shortening it, well, it tenses up. It creates this new tighter shape. So what we're doing here is allowing the connective tissues to lengthen, counter that contraction that it was doing all day. Finding that balance. Because we want to be able to lengthen the legs and bring the knees into the chest. We need that range of motion. But we need that balance. Breath in. Breath out. Nicely done. All right, slowly walk your feet in towards the sit bones. Lift the hips up just enough to slide the bolster out of the way. Bringing the knees in towards, first the hips down, then bring the knees in towards your chest to give it a squeeze. Place your hands down on the earth and slowly come all the way up into seated position, coming into a fish pose. So we're going to use the bolster again. The short wide part of the bolster right at your lower back. Keep your sit bones down on the earth, and then you're just going to lie back. And you can decide what you want to do with your legs. Maybe butterfly legs, maybe legs nice and long, and then you can decide what to do with the arms too. I'm going to have my arms nice and wide so I can open up through the front of the chest, the pectoral muscles and its associated fascia, the myofascia of the pecs. And just as we did the sitting and undoing the counter pose of all the sitting we're doing, we're now counterposing all the slouching we do over the devices that we have. Over time, slouching over a device shortens the fascia and the muscles in the chest, creating that roundness in the back and weakening the muscles at the back, upper back. You might also notice that throughout the day your head gets heavier and heavier and the chin comes closer and closer towards the chest, leaning forward. And so this fish pose allows us to open the front of the neck. Beautiful. Just stay here for a few breaths. Okay, noticing if any thoughts come up. Don't attach to those thoughts, just let them float by. And enjoy the moments of stillness between the thoughts. Breath in through the nose. You open your mouth side out. Let's do that again. Breath in. Open the mouth side out. Beautiful. Last pose for our practice tonight. So bring your forms down to lift yourself up. Coming into a Savasana. I like to take my bolster or blocks or pillows and place them under the knees. And then lying down on your back. Taking up as much room as you like, so letting the palms face up or down. I always feel like if you want to be receiving, palms face up. If you need a little more grounding, palms face down. See if you can melt the muscles away from the bones. We're just letting everything go here. I'm going to end the practice with a short yoga nidra. I'm going to call out a body part, and I'd like you to bring your awareness to that. I'm not attaching to that area, but just moving on to the next part that I call out. And it's just your awareness moving there, not any movement in itself, just the awareness. Take a breath in through the nose. Open your mouth side out. Feel the lips touching. Bring awareness to your teeth, gums, tongue. Soften through the jaw, the cheeks. Move your awareness up to your forehead. Outline your ears, the back of the head, the neck, the shoulders, collarbone, your right arm, and the right upper arm, right forearm, right hand, right fingers, the right arm. Move your awareness across your chest towards your left shoulder, your left arm, left upper arm, left forearm, left hand, all the fingers on your left hand, your left arm. Walk your awareness all the way down your torso to your lower back, outer hips, front of the hips, over to the right leg, the right upper leg, right lower leg, the right foot, all the toes on the right foot, your whole right leg. Moving awareness across over to the left leg, left upper leg, left lower leg, left foot, all the toes on the left, the whole left leg. Notice the back body, every part of the body connected to the earth. Notice the front of the body. Notice the air touching the skin. Notice your whole body. And then bring your awareness to your breath. Notice the subtle movements in the body as the breath moves in and out. I invite you to stay here as long as you like and maybe even fall asleep. And if you'd like to, please bring your hands and rest them onto your heart, one on top of the other. Take a breath in, breath out. Hope you have a wonderful, deep, peaceful sleep. Good night and namaste.